Substitutes agreed to. The gentleman from Stanton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House, House Bill 2151, the Educator Fairness Act. Here in Virginia, we're committed to providing a world-class education at every level. Our students are some of the brightest and most committed in the country. They frequently outperform their peers on the SAT, the ACT, and the advanced placement tests. In fact, Virginia students ranked third in the nation for advanced placement testing. And in 2011, 87% graduated on time and with a diploma. Our K-12 schools were recently awarded the honor of being ranked the fourth best schools in the country by quality counts. We need to place a greater emphasis on enhancing teacher quality. This means having the ability to recruit and retain our greatest educators. It also means being able to relieve those teachers who are ineffective at providing a high-quality education to our young people. House Bill 2151 makes several changes to the evaluation and grievance procedure, but does not eliminate the continuing contract. This legislation requires teachers, assistant principals, and principals to be evaluated every year, either formally or informally. And those evaluations will include student academic progress as a significant component. Additionally, the bill changes the term of probationary service required. Currently, the probationary period is 3 years. This legislation will allow the school board to issue a continuing contract between 3 and 5 years. This will allow flexibility to the school divisions and allow for a much more thoughtful examination before being awarded a continuing contract. Further, this legislation provides for a definition of incompetence to include one or more unsatisfactory performance evaluations. This will define the relationship between the evaluation and the contract. Finally, this legislation streamlines the grievance procedure to allow for an expedited decision to inform the teacher regarding their employment status. The local school board will be able to appoint an impartial hearing officer with knowledge and expertise in public education and education law to preside over an administrative hearing. The hearing officer will make a written recommendation to the local school board. The decision of the local school board should be made as soon as practical and no more than 30 days after receiving the record of the hearing from the hearing officer. This legislation is supported by the Virginia Education Association, the VEA, Virginia School Boards Association, the Virginia Association of School Superintendents, the Virginia Association of Elementary School Principals, and the Virginia Association of Secondary School Principals, as well as several business organizations, including the Virginia Chamber of Commerce and the Northern Virginia Chamber Partnership. This legislation was developed with vast stakeholder involvement and was overwhelmingly supported from Virginia's education community. Without that involvement and cooperation, we wouldn't be where we are today with this legislation. And today we're in a pretty good place as far as the teachers are concerned. The bill passed out of both sub and full committee unanimously, and I would move to engross the bill and pass it to its third reading.
Gentleman from Charlottesville, Mr. Toscano.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the gentleman yield for a question?
Gentleman yield?
I yield.
The gentleman yields.
Yes, thank you. I'd ask the gentleman, I understand that this is, the substitute was a function of a lot of work by a lot of different parties to get to some kind of compromise. But can you remind the body the difference between the substitute and the original bill as to that so-called continuing contract and the 3 versus the 5 year issue?
Originally, Mr. Speaker, originally we had asked for a 5-year probationary period, as in the legislation last year. That was a sticking point, obviously. We negotiated that point. We settled on a period of probation from 3 to 5 years. That means that the 3 years stays in place. That's what's there now. Teachers serve a probationary 3-year period now. Now the option exists to award that continuing contract after 3 years, after 4 years, or extending the probationary period to the full 5 years if deemed necessary.
Follow-up question, Mr. Speaker.
Will the gentleman yield?
I'll yield.
The gentleman yields.
I'd ask the gentleman, would it be fair to say that one of the reasons why some of the folks like this bill is that it gives some more power to the localities in terms of how they carry out the option of the 3 to 5 years? Is that fair?
Mr. Speaker, to answer the gentleman, I'd say that is a fair statement. I think it's also fair to say that they like this bill because it contains a 2% pay raise.
I won't go there, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. I thank the gentleman.
Shall the bill be engrossed and passed to its third reading? So any in favor of that motion will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The bill is engrossed and passed to its third reading.